Everybody stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, take the roll.
Mayor O'Connor.
Here.
Morissette.
Here.
Wakefield.
Here.
Knutson. Here. Kennedy.
Here.
Brooke.
Here.
Paul.
Here.
All right, before we go into comments and suggestions, there are two things I want to get to do. First of all, is anybody here for the public hearing? No? Well, that's unfortunate, because,
Word got out, I guess.
yeah, so the public hearing is canceled, but we were hoping that somebody would have been here tonight to let people know that we're going to try to Zoom in for the public hearing, to let them know it was canceled because we still have a Zoom problem. And hopefully they're not trying to watch this, the public hearing on Zoom. Anyway, so the public hearing is canceled. The petitioner has withdrawn their petition, and so no public hearing. Next up, we didn't want to wait until the end of the meeting for this. We have retiring police officer, Lieutenant Jason Munich is retiring after long dedicated service to Hudson. I can't express our appreciation for that, Jason. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for the city. Wow, do you have a speech prepared? I was told you might walk out, not walk to the mic.
Jeez.
Oh, you'd be fired. Yeah. Well, thank you. I wasn't expecting that introduction, but again, I'm Lieutenant Jason Munich with the police department. After 28 years of law enforcement, I'll be retiring on December 13th. So I'm excited about that. It's been an honor, working for the city. I grew up here. My family was raised here. My wife's from here. So it was a great experience, running into family and friends and classmates and neighbors. And it's been a really good experience. I can't thank Jack Bro and Tucker O'Connell and Chief Trendy enough for hiring me, back in the day. And it's been good working with the previous councils and previous mayors as well, and how much they support the police department and how much the community truly supports the police department. It's been a real great place to work. So I thank you very much, and it's been good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, well-deserved retirement, and thank you for your service to the city. It's
Yeah.
very much appreciated.
Yeah. Thank you.
See you later.
Okay.
Thought he was prepared.
All right. Next up, citizen comments. This is your opportunity to comment on any item, any issue before the city that is not currently on the agenda tonight. If you do have a comment, please step up to the podium, give your name and address. Try to keep your comments brief. Try not to repeat other people's comments. So, does anybody have a comment? Any comment? Any comment? Any comment? Hearing none, we'll close that portion of the agenda. The public hearing, once again, has been pulled. So, consent agenda.
Approve the meeting minutes from November 11th, 2024 regular council meeting. Approve the claims in the amount of $1,613,294.78. Approve the 2025 common council meeting schedule.
I'd like to have that item pulled, please.
Approve the 2025 fee schedule. Approve replacing a retiring K-9 for the police department. Approve staff vehicle for fire department.
Please pull that one.
Approve fast attack pumper purchase for the fire department. Approve Ring Central contract for 5 years of phone service. Approve the coldest night of the year event. Approve the candlelight stroll. Approve the mayoral appointment of Andy Hassan to the Public Utility Commission. Approve the certified survey map, extraterritorial zone, town of Hudson at 654 Gilbert Road, Douglas and Christine Tulgren. Approve the final development plan review of 585 Annabelle Way, Hearth Development.
Could you please pull that item also?
Approve the 2025 shared ride taxi operating contract between the City of Hudson and Running Incorporated.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the consent agenda with the exceptions of item C, item F, and item M. Is that correct? All right, motion second, roll call?
Morissette,
Yes.
Wakefield,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
Ruck,
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Motion's approved, consent agenda is approved. Item C, approve the 2025 Common Council meeting schedule.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to discuss the only having a single meeting planned for both January and February. I was concerned about that, as some of you may have heard my comments at the interim part of the Finance Committee meeting, that I think it's important that we start talking about the final plans and getting ready for our two building projects to go out to bid. And so certainly matching up a schedule with, we have several outside consultants that are working with us, providing material. I just worry that maybe they can't make it to a certain meeting, or they need more time to make a deadline. And just speaking off the cuff with Brent, our city administrator, between the meetings, that maybe there's a goal of hoping go to bid by March, for example. So I wondered, I was asking Becky also about the formality, and I'll defer to you, Mr. Mayor, about what if we set a meeting? I realize there's a conflict with Martin Luther King Day, is that correct, on the Monday in January that we might have met. Should we choose a Tuesday to work and have it on the calendar if we need it? What is the best, is it better to have a meeting posted and then not meet and announce that we're not meeting, or try to make a special meeting if we needed that time to work with those? We're from the advice that we've gotten through the consultants that are working on the Public Works building, is getting out to bid here or late winter, early spring is highly advised to get the best possible. So I'm looking for input or ideas from other council members or staff about that.
Stop, Becky. I'll try to get it up here. Calendar then for, January, we're having a meeting on January 6th.
So the 20th would have been
So
the,
the Martin Luther King official holiday is the 20th?
Yep, yep.
and then in February, the clerk, Becky, had made a comment on the issue sheet that if there's a primary election,
Which
you're
I
going to be
believe there will
setting
be,
up.
yeah.
Most likely, it
Yeah.
sounds like
There
there is
is,
going to
yeah.
be a primary. So we wouldn't want to meet on that Monday.
Well, council, we have this booked for central count before the election.
Yes, right, exactly, right. There's using this room and all of the preparation.
Right.
I just wanted to bring that forward before we just accepted the proposed dates. Just thinking that there might be some critical discussion. We don't want to rush the process, give all council members time to gather information and then come back and discuss
So
it
either way, we're
again.
gonna have two, if you wanted to do something different here in February in particular, either way, we're gonna have two council meetings in a row, right? Either we would have it the 2 weeks, first 2 weeks of February, or.
Unless you did a Tuesday.
Or we do, yeah, that's true, or we
You
do
did the Tuesday, what is that, the 21st?
Well-
If
Is
you
that
did
it?
It would be the
I don't,
Tuesday, the,
The 21st
the
of
21st
January.
after
no,
Martin
I'm
Luther.
talking February.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That would, but we could do the 24th. But then we'd have a meeting right away the first Monday, a week later, first Monday of
Right.
March. And it doesn't matter to me. And-
Tuesday is, the third Tuesday, that's not Plan Commission, is it? Is there another
No, it would be the
committee
first
that's
Tuesday.
regularly? I didn't know how the rest of the council felt about it, I just wanted to bring it up.
And then if
as
you
an
wanted,
issue.
I was kind of skipping by January because of the 20th makes it kind of difficult, but, we could do Tuesday, the 21st.
That's available
Beg your pardon?
that's available for me if everybody else
Sure.
is agreeable to that
if
one.
we feel we need to do that.
I think we should put it on the calendar, and then we can always cancel it if we don't need it.
Well, also, you know, the plan, I don't know what all the Plan Commission is dealing with, but of course, they move things towards us. And there's developers or property owners that are looking for answers, approvals, et cetera, and I hate to make them wait a whole month. So if the rest of the council, I would move that we accept the proposed council meeting schedule for 2025 with the addition of Tuesday, January 21st.
And
Added
not
it.
have the second meting in February, because trying to work around that election would be pretty tough.
Right, this way we'll
Okay.
take the pressure off of that.
I'll second that. And I think that if we really needed a meeting in February, we could do a special meeting and figure out how to do
We
it.
will have the third, that first
Yeah.
Monday, but if we
So-
need a second one later,
So just one in February.
yes.
Okay.
Unless
We're going to
needed.
assume February 17th is off. So yes, thank you. I'll add that to my motion, that we will not be meeting on February 17th because there'll be a primary. We'll meet on January 6th, Tuesday, January 21st, Monday, February 3rd, and then not again until March, Monday, March 3rd.
How do we know there's a primary already?
The rumor mill.
There's Supreme Court.
Oh,
Okay, sure. And there's other races that I have just heard locally. Well, remains to be seen if it'll really happen.
Right.
But,
I
oh,
have
you're
heard-
expecting
yeah.
it?
Yes, I am.
Okay. It's not an if, really, so.
No, I mean, yeah, it's definitely not the
Okay,
final word,
thank you.
but
So anyway, that's my motion.
And I've already seconded it.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Item F.
Thank you. I asked for this to be pulled, and I did talk with Chief earlier today. And the reason I absolutely support getting a new vehicle, you might not be surprised, I'm encouraging us to explore a hybrid option. I've done a little exploration. There are some hybrid F-150s available in Hudson. They are used, they're in a similar price point with about 20,000 miles on it. I've done some additional research because I know you mentioned that was important to have the police package on that. That can be added to a hybrid vehicle. So I would encourage us, in part that addresses Councilmember Morissette's concern about really trying to keep the business right here in Hudson. And we have other departments that have hybrid trucks who have been happy with them so far. So I would encourage us to do that.
yep. So I guess I would be a little reluctant to go into a used vehicle, being the lifespan of it. And I don't know what year they are, but these are, 10 to 12-year vehicles for our fleet. And then to try to add a system into a vehicle that wasn't designed for initially. The reason we went with the police package in these vehicles is with the heavier suspensions, the larger brakes for when you're responding emergency, the pre-wire for the emergency lighting, that's a big one. You're looking at an additional 10 to 12% increase in upfitting the vehicle when it's not pre-wired. There's more labor involved with that. And the pricing we did get was the municipal pricing on the vehicles, and I believe if you were to get a new hybrid that's not the police package equipped, it's an additional 8,000 to 9,000 per vehicle for that. So, I understand the concern. It was something that we considered, but because we couldn't get a new F-150 with the police equipped package in it with all the items we would want, we went this route instead.
Was the 47,000 or almost the 48,000 on that price, did that include the police package on it?
Correct,
Okay.
yes. Yep,
All
that's
right.
the full vehicle. The whole money requested for this project was about 80,000, so that will include the upfitting of the vehicle, the radio, everything else with it. So this is just for the vehicle. So I guess my concern would be if we increase the price of the vehicle, am I gonna have enough money in the backside to finish up fitting the vehicle in the end?
Okay, so the 47,000 does not include the police package?
It does.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. But then there's the upfitting of installing the warning lights, installing the radios,
Okay.
the graphics that have to go on it, all that stuff, so.
All right.
I completely understand where you're coming from on it. I think it's a little different for us than what the police department may use a vehicle. Their vehicles run 24/7 all the time. Ours, when we get back to the station, we shut them off. If we go out inspecting, we shut them off. They're not constantly running like they are at the police department. So I don't know, the fuel cost savings may be longer to realize than what initially would be in a police cruiser.
All right, well, thank you so much. Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thanks, chief. Item M, approve final development plan review of 585 Annabelle Way Hearth development.
Thank you. I asked Mike Johnson to give us some, I would like to ask a few questions about this project. I was not on the council when the first part of Annabelle Way was developed, the Bella Rose apartment complexes, et cetera. And so a part of it is for my benefit to learn and also to understand better. Of course, Plan Commission has discussed this at length, and I just feel it kind of behooves us as a council to go over some of the points to, help make sure we understand the projects as they are approved. So I know that there were, in observing what the Plan Commission was doing, there's been some adjustments in the height of the building and so on for aesthetic purposes and to deal with the lay of the land, so to speak.
Correct, the setback and the lay of the land. So if you push the building further towards the existing single-family homes, and just to kind of back up a little bit, this is a 92-unit building. The original Bella Rose development included up to 110-unit buildings. You have the existing 110-unit building. This building is 92 units. And because they had to shift it up for the topography, so there wasn't a big wall on the south end adjoining the homes that are there, they were able to knock that down, but had to reduce that setback on the north side a little bit. So that's why that occurred in this 92-unit building. There's 190 parking spaces. Parking is required. One covered and one outside for each unit. Any unit that has over two bedrooms requires an extra stall in addition to that. So the requirement was 190 spaces, or is 190 spaces, and that's what they're providing, so.
And that exterior is a new and separate lot than what's present for the first building?
Correct.
That's correct? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. Those were some of the questions that I did bring up to you when we spoke today, and thank you. I just thought it was worth discussing in public since it's an important issue that we're moving forward, and I definitely do not object to it, but I just thought it was important to cover that. One other question I had, I noticed outdoor gathering space is being proposed. I know the Parks, our Public Works and Parks Department has already put in playground, which is great. There's developer fees that went to that cost, so we appreciate that program that's in place through our Community Development Department, where fees are collected and then used to improve the property and provide a play area. So what would the gathering space be like? Is there?
Yeah, the applicant's actually here. I'll let them speak to
Okay,
the
sure, that'd be great.
amenities that might be
Thank you.
provided.
Hi, good evening. My
Thank you.
name is Greg Johnson. I'm with Hearth Development. And yeah, just to speak to maybe the public, not even the public, but just the community space that we're trying to create on the north side of the building. On the first phase that we did, if you've seen the building, we have a very short backyard. So we've got a patio off the back, and it's a grilling station and a sitting area for people. This particular site on the second phase, we have a little bit more property to work with. So what we're hoping for is a little bit more robust grilling station, probably like a bocce ball area where people can kind of congregate outside and get outside when there's nice days. We're not looking at a pickleball court or anything that's obnoxious and noisy like that. So pretty self-contained community space there for the residents in both buildings.
Sure. And do you mind if I inquire, what do you anticipate, just market rate rent, or are you doing some things to offer, what kind of entry points are the rentals?
Yeah, I would say it's comparable to what Phase 1 is. We've got a mixture of young professionals all the way to retired empty nesters in our first building.
Okay.
And so that's kind of what we're anticipating. We did create more 2 and 3 bedrooms in this building because we had more 1 bedrooms in the first. We're trying to get a good blend
Okay.
of units there.
Might be room for some families
Yeah.
at that point with the 2 or 3 bedroom. That's great to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
I had another question, perhaps more for the community development staff. Thank you, Mike. I've had people ask me about the stoplight at the corner there. New Quick Trip, Faith Community Church across the street, that, that stoplight is still on wooden poles that look like, I don't know, telephone poles? What is the plan there? Is that part of, understand there's phases of development, and at this point, different people own different parts of this former Atwood property. Is that correct?
Correct.
Because we're moving towards a Starbucks potentially, or a coffee shop is potentially going to be approved with the drive-up, et cetera. Can you tell me what the plan is for those traffic lights?
Well, I think Greg can attest to the fact that this has been an ongoing discussion for a couple of years, well, over a year now, year and a half, 2 years. Thankfully, I know Greg's been working on finding a more, I don't want to call it a permanent solution, but one that looks more permanent would be the answer to that question. Ultimately, we don't know what the final alignment and width and how Carmichael Road's going to lay out, right? So, especially up in that direction. We know more so down by like Hudson Physicians where they did put in the more permanent lights. But up there, we don't know. And we're trying to work through something that is more presentable. I know the applicant's not overly pleased with kind of some of the outcome of what's out there currently. I don't think I'm off base on that. And we'll work with Mike Mraz and our public works team and engineering to come up with the right solution, because with the ongoing development pressure and, with the church across the street, FCC expanding, that light serves all of those, functions. So what we have to do right. But I do want to assure the public that something will occur out there that will be much more presentable.
Okay. So in other words, you're saying, since you don't know in 10 years, what the layout of the road might look like,
Right.
You're hesitant to put in, or you're carefully choosing what to put
Carefully
in.
planning and choosing
Yeah,
what that solution looks like.
Thank you. Well, that has been an issue, again, that members of the public have brought to me, and so I thought this was a good time to ask about it.
Absolutely.
So I move to approve the final development plans for the Annabelle Wade Bella Rose Phase 2.
Second. Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Transfer the retail Class A beer and Class A liquor license from Spirit Cellar John Cromer to Wine and Spirit Cellar LLC, doing business as Spirit Cellar of Vipul Patel, 203 2nd Street. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly.
So we got an application request and a letter from John Cromer stating that with the potential sale of the business, he would like to transfer his liquor license to a new owner down at the same location. And they are here if you do have any further questions.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Updated capital asset policy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In front of you this evening is an updated capital asset policy. As part of our audit in 2023, one of the recommendations from the auditor was to take a look at this capital asset policy and increase the value from $1,000, which was across the board for both our utility funds, general fund, and all other funds that we have. As Brent and I started to meet, I guess I'll note that this is probably one of many, many policies you will see in the next 6 to to 8 months. Brent and I decided to break them up into more digestible portions, with this one being probably the head, being that we needed to get it approved prior to the end of the year, so it is applicable for the 2024 2024 financial statements. The update is for the capitalization threshold to go from $1,000 to $10,000 across the board, unless otherwise mandated by the PSC. One good example of where the PSC will recommend an amount less than that is for water meters. They recommend or require that they're capitalized even though they are under $1,000 a piece. With that, I stand for questions.
Move to
Ready?
approve.
A second.
Okay. Motion and second to approve. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thanks, Ann. Department reports. Police Department update.
Yeah.
Chief?
Good evening. So you should have our calls for service update since the last month's update. If there's any questions about that, I'm happy to take those. As for other updates, I guess, for our department, we all know that Lieutenant Munich is retiring in the middle of the month, in 2 weeks. So we've been working through his replacement, which will be replaced by a current sergeant by our agency. We had to replace that vacant sergeant position. And then we had the 2 openings, one current opening for a police officer, as well as the opening being created by Lieutenant Munich retiring. So we've been working with the Police and Fire Commission to replace those positions as well. So we'll be hiring 2 new people, promoting 2 people within our agency. We've also selected a new canine handler and a new drug detective in the last 3 months. So it's been busy, a lot of movement within our department, and some new faces coming soon.
Anybody?
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Did you, this is a follow-up maybe, Chief? Did you want to advertise the Shop with a Cop?
So our annual Shop with a Cop is Thursday at Walmart, this Thursday. So it sounds like we'll have about 70 kids that we'll be shopping with at Walmart. And then next week, Tuesday, is at Fleet Farm.
Cool.
That's great.
So
And you're accepting donations?
we are accepting donations, yes.
Cool. All right, thanks.
That's awesome.
The clerk report.
Attached, you have the numbers, kind of give you an overlook of what showed up at the election with an in-person and kind of breaking down the numbers. So overall, it was a 96% turnout. And with that, we're rolling right into the spring election. So circulation of papers for council members and mayor started yesterday. And the paperwork is all due here January 7th at 5 p.m. So we're rolling right in. We were part of the 10% of the municipalities in the state that got requested for the audit. So we completed that on last Tuesday, and we reconciled, and so it was wonderful. It went way smoother than, for never being through an audit before, it went very smooth. So happy to report back to that. And other than that, that's about it.
Great. Questions? Anybody?
Thank you.
Becky. Utility update. Yep, good to see you here.
Good evening, Kip Peters, Utility Director. In the packet, I've got Deer Path Tower rehab project that we've been working on since early this fall. That Deer Path Tower is up in the village. It's going to be a complete rehab up there, so that's complete paint, sandblast paint, rehab that entire thing. There is some structural work that needs to be done on that, so with that project, part of that is having the carriers that are up on top, so your cell carriers. that use that tower for the communication purposes, we do have to have them come off. So that's where you'll see the temporary towers are just the small little ones that are up there, that they'll move off of that onto those temporaries. Once the project is completed, then they will move back onto the water towers. So we're working on that now. Well 7, which is also up in the village, has been rehabbed. We do anywhere between 1 to 2 wells a year. We've got 8 of them in town that we do. So on a 5 or 6 year rotation, a well is completely pulled out of the ground. Wells typically in this area are anywhere between 450 and 550 feet deep. So all of that equipment is pulled out. It's sent into the shop where it's rehabbed, looked at for pitting, any issues that we might have, and then that is placed back in. So that well has been rehabbed. It's currently offline as of right now. We're just waiting on safe samples to come back. Once we get those back, I'm guessing tomorrow or Wednesday, that well will go back online. So we're doing that. And then the other thing that I had on here was our water tower annual inspections. So every year we are required to do inspections on our towers and our system and things like that. So we do have a company come in that does looks at all of our water towers, our wells, everything, just kind of do an inspection on that type of stuff, see what's might need to be changed. It's not so much daily things, that we know about. It's regulation type stuff. They might move from, instead of a 12-inch gap, and now it's got to be a 14-inch gap. It's just things like that. So we go back through and do our annual inspections, which kind of gives us a report that we do have to turn into DNR. And then it gives us something to work off of for the rest of the year. So that's my report.
Thank
Some
you.
questions? Thanks, Kip.
I like it.
Yeah. Fire department. I'm sorry.
Public Works.
Public Works.
You're fine, you missed one.
Uh,
I am gonna go a little off script. Nate, I'm gonna plug this in for a PowerPoint presentation.
Got it.
Andrew here.
Right? Hopefully this works. So you turn on your monitors. It's not coming up. Oh, here, Nate.
It's on your second screen.
Second.
So you gotta just move it over.
Oh, one of those deals. Apparently technology's not gonna work for us tonight.
Could take a 25-minute recess.
Yeah, can we take a recess?
Fire department.
Technology.
Yeah, come on up.
While that one gets,
Keep going with that? All right. I'll make it quick. I don't have a presentation, unfortunately. The 2 reports, I was not able to compile the November report for the December meeting. We had to have them submitted before the end of the month, but I will mention today we just had our 600th call for the year. So we are 28 calls ahead of last year, so we should probably break 630 for the year easily. Couple things to note, if you look back in October, that's Fire Prevention Month. We were in the schools and the daycares, rough numbers, about 825 kids. We had fire prevention outreach too, so we concentrate on the kindergarten and first grade level every year, so about 825 kids that we got our fire prevention message out to. The other thing in the October report is if you look at the total number of inspections to date, 1,096. That is where, when we get our second inspector online, the second half of next year is going to take a lot of load off our current fire inspector. As new construction again starts to kick in, We're just being inundated with inspections, so that's gonna be a huge plus. The only other thing of note, which is not of good news, but we did have a fatal fire in the village in the month of November, so that's the first fatality our department's had in about 7 years, so that's it.
Thanks, Chief.
If this doesn't work, then we'll just go with what I had before.
The public library will not be here.
Kind of figured that out.
I see it. Just start there. It's coming. It's coming.
Go, snuck in there.
I tell you what. All right, so, as Joy alluded to, we discussed at our recent Public Works Committee meeting, the Public Works facility up on 2101 O'Neill Road. We had representatives from Cedar Corporation and Kraus Anderson came, gave this PowerPoint presentation, and then Public Works Committee was able to answer ask a bunch of questions that they were able to answer. So just wanted to kind of bring this up to speed with the council as probably at one of the meetings in January, we'll be bringing forward final plans to approve and then authorize ad for bid, with hopes of bidding out with the PD department kind of that late February, early March window. So just kind of want to give an update on what we've been up to and give you some rough schematics, some numbers, and then a schedule. So let me just take about 5 minutes to roll through this. So the design highlights, obviously, we're doing some exterior improvements to the facility. Most notably in the northwest portion of the property, there's the addition of some outdoor asphalt. There is a salt storage addition. And then there is a fuel island kind of on the southwest corner of the property, which will be utilized by all departments. That'll be screened in with masonry brick, and then obviously new tanks and probably relocating our pump from the east garage up there. On the interior, we're looking at doing some remodeling of the restroom facilities. Right now, they are shared between us and the current tenant. They had requested that those facilities be separate, which is understandable. And so we went ahead and added that to the plans. It is a good thing because once we do take over the entire facility and we have office staff up there, office staff would use one side of the restrooms, the public works staff would use the other side with the showers and locker rooms, so on and so forth. So it's a good addition to the facility. There is a plan to replace the air units, the rooftop units. And then they're also updating, obviously, the mechanical exhaust for the vehicle storage inside the building. They're also adding a trench drain into the middle of the shop on the north side. It's kind of in that darkish gray. That was one of the concerns. Right now, it's just a flat, polished concrete surface. Obviously, concerns from the staff about tripping, slipping, falling, especially during the wintertime when snow is melting inside. So we're able to incorporate that into the facility as well. And then the next slide shows kind of that restroom remodel. Two tenants, our two sides separated, both a men's and women's side on each side. And then this is just a schematic of the rooftop units that are in the design. This is a salt storage facility. It's designed to hold 2,000 tons of salt, so it will serve not only our needs now, but well into the future. We currently take anywhere between 1,600 and 1,800 tons of salt every season. We'll be able, once we build this, to have an early season fill and not have to worry about having enough salt on hand for the rest of the season. So there's been times since my time here where we've had multiple storms in a row where we've gotten down to about 20 tons of salt, which is enough to fill 2 trucks. And that's very concerning for us as a department to make sure that the streets are safe. So this will house that and then some. And then we're also looking at doing some material storage, bunkers for trap rock in class 5. And then also on the facility will be some cold storage and a brine room to house our brine machine. The other item that we are looking to include on this project, but we are bidding as an alternate right now, just based on the numbers that we're kind of getting back from Kraus Anderson, is a street sign, traffic signal repair shop. This is basically just to the east of the current loading dock. We're gonna kind of sandwich it into the building. Right now, it's just green space. But it would be a 2,400-foot addition, and will allow our staff to repair any traffic signals that are knocked down, street lighting that's knocked down. We also do all of our programming for our traffic signals, so we actually have like mock-up units right now in the west shop where our staff can reconfigure traffic signal timing, so on and so forth, do it in the shop. They take it out to the field and they download it in the computer system, so it'd give them space to do that as well. So looking to add that to the area as well. That way we can have everybody in the same building, which was the purpose of purchasing this facility, is to efficiencies gain and supervision. This is kind of just a schematic of that proposed sign shop. All right, budget numbers. So what we're looking at right now is kind of the nuts and bolts of this page is we have $5.3 million budgeted for the renovations based on the bonding that we've done thus far. That is in the kind of that first green line, that total revenue, that second column. And then if you go all the way down to the bottom, the total projected costs is $4.86 million. So we do have, I would say, not savings, but we are under budget by $439,000. Now keep in mind that that does not include that alternate bid of the street sign shop. That's estimated at about $460,000. So if that comes in kind of right at number, we're going to be very close to what we have budgeted. For that reason, at the Public Works Committee, we discussed doing another alternate bid, which would be to the rooftop units that I talked about earlier, doing that as an alternate bid as well. Just to give us some flexibility on bid day, or when we do decide to move forward with the project, that we're not locking ourselves in to approving the rooftop units or that sign shop. Based on the bids that we get back, we may be able to kind of do an a la carte and pick and choose kind of what upgrades we need. Hopefully, with the current bid climate, everything comes in under bid or under budget, and we can move ahead with the entire project. But you know, there's a chance that it's come over, and then we have to make some decisions. So that's kind of just the general gist of the budget. And Kraus Anderson put these numbers together based on what they're seeing in the construction industry right now, other bids that they have coming in, and these are the numbers, like I said, that they had put together. Any questions on this before I move along? Okay, so the left column, that concept estimate, that was kind of their first stab. Okay, that was back in August. The second column, the construction document estimate, that's more of kind of a finalized estimate. So those are kind of the numbers that they're moving ahead with. And then schedule. Obviously, Joy alluded to this when we signed the contract with our construction manager. The goal was to put both the PD and Public Works facility out to bid at the same time, utilizing the efficiencies of having the same construction manager. So this kind of just outlines that timeline. I know Jeff, they've been diligently working on their designs with OPN, and I think they're on schedule to meet kind of this deadline. The goal is to get it out to bid late February, early March, bid both projects together. It's more attractive to the bidder market just because it's a larger project. And then also we gain those efficiencies by working with the same contractors for both projects instead of, you know, divvying it up and you have an electrical contractor on this site and you have a different one on the PD site, so so on and so forth. So like I said, if you know, Jeff's, you know, building comes together as according to plan, we would bid this out together. There is a possibility that if they do get delayed, we may want to consider going out separately and taking advantage of the bidding market. So, but time will tell. We'll know a lot more after the holiday season, where they sit and where we sit, and we'll go from there. But we're pretty much wrapped up on our side. You know, we'll just do a couple minor tweaks based on the comments at Public Works Committee, and then I'll bring, like I said, I'll bring together kind of final plans to either that first or second meeting in January for your approval. So that's kind of where we're at. Any questions?
Sounds good. Anybody?
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you. Finance report.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Finance have been busy with, after the passage of the levy, excuse me, The levy had me all choked up. After the passage of the levy, getting the required reports off to the county. Also preliminary audit work for 2024 took place on November 13th and 14th. Coming up, the 5th through the 16th, we'll work with the county and outside vendor to make sure property tax bills are sent out. And staff will begin working on year-end items such as 1099s, W-2s, year-end adjustments here shortly. With that, I stand for any questions.
Anybody?
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
We will not have a library report tonight. City Administrator.
Yeah, the reports, you've all had probably a chance to read that. I just want to kind of point out a couple of quick things. Just want to thank all of the older persons here that donated for the employee Thanksgiving lunch. It was a pretty good success. I think everybody enjoyed it. We had this room full of employees coming and going, and we really appreciate that, and thank you all for putting that together for us. And they wanted to thank you as well. They mentioned it many times that they were very much appreciative that you put forward that effort and thanking them. So that and the quarterly newsletter should be, there's a draft that I was just sent today, and we'll have that, I guess it's no longer a quarterly, it's biannual newsletter, I guess, that we'll be putting out on just the general information for the fall and winter that was produced by staff and department heads sent over, and we should have that here shortly. So you'll get that in your inbox fairly soon. And I guess that's it. We're just working with Sam and trying to get some of the updates to our policies going. There's a lot of stuff to keep going on, so just appreciate it, and thank you, everybody, and have a good Christmas.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Community Development.
I do not have a PowerPoint. Obviously, it's been, I know everybody said busy, but it's been certainly busy. I know council's been inundated with some emails and correspondence from constituents about different projects and different things that are going on. 2025 is going to ramp up here pretty shortly too with some of those annexation requests that we're working through that sanitary sewer service area plan update. So we have those. You can see we've had those conditional use permits come forward for Bright Star Care. We will have, tonight it was approved, the new apartment building. So David will be busy, David and Rep both will be busy going through that and inspecting that next summer. We do have that Board of Appeals meeting we're working on scheduling for the Crew Car Wash that appealed the decision to deny that project. So we're working on scheduling that. We've had some issues obtaining quorum as of late. Nick and GIS continues to do an awesome job. I really encourage people to look at those story maps after every plan commission and council meeting. We update our story maps so people can kind of see what projects are in the pipeline and what's going on throughout the community. It's just a good way for people to see it and visualize where in the community, different projects and things are occurring. I think it's important, obviously, to mention, I know we've talked about the public transit system frequently the last few meetings, but we're really ramping up. I really want to thank Emily Bowles in my office for really stepping up and working on that PTAP application so we can get that in before the end of the year. We'll be working with New Richmond to kind of help cross-train on reporting now that we are segueing away from Regional Planning Commission and internalizing the reporting process. So that it's not a lot of work, but it's a learning curve and we're gonna have Sue in the finance office cross-train on that too, so we have multiple people know how to do that. Then I think I'll close with free holiday parking. I know we made that proclamation last meeting, but You still have to pay if you park over 3 hours. I want to make sure people know that, but you get your first 3 hours free. And the other free lots, like the beach house and across the street here at Williams, are still your free lots as well. So, any questions?
Anybody? Cool. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
David, you're going to add to this?
Yeah, they're busy.
In your packet, you'll find numbers from October, and just to highlight a couple of projects, the Gerber Collision is started in the former Erskine Flooring building on Cooley Road. 900 Industrial Street, the old car wash and laundromat, they're investing, the new owners are investing quite a bit of money in the mechanicals there. And then in October, we issued three new single-family homes, one of which was a tear down. And in November, I'm going to highlight a few things from November, but you won't find it in your packet. The Maxwell Phase 2 really kicked off in November. We were there quite often, looking at footings and foundation. Bright Star Care started in November. We were there looking at footings and foundation. No new houses in November, but we did have one tear down. So -1 in the new house category in November. But we do expect a new permit to be, actually it was pulled today for that property. And then I also thought it'd be a good time to talk about occupancy of some recent projects. I have been highlighting our starts, but I think I'll include some occupancy information at these meetings. Of course, we issued the CO for Festival Foods in October. We also finalized a project at 1007 Pearson Drive for Discovery Strength. I think they call that a micro gym. It's kind of one-on-one strength training. 900 Crestview Drive, that was a Hazelden outpatient therapy office. So that'll be a new or a good addition to the city. 113 2nd Street, we did a final occupancy for Chiro Way. It's a new chiropractic office. The Resco addition wrapped up in November. And then we issued 3 new occupancy permits for 3 new homes, one of which is 708 8th Street. That was kind of a long neglected vacant home that has a new owner. I think that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you certify Papa John's?
Not yet.
What was the question?
Papa John's,
What about it?
if it's open yet, certified.
Hopefully by the holiday.
Time for your Christmas
You
dinner.
hungry, Randy?
Always hungry.
All right, thank you, guys. So the only thing I've got is just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and look forward to seeing you all, if not before the end of the year, right after.
That's good.
Anybody have anything? Okay.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
I like those reports.